Hi everyone, it's Maria here. Hello, Momentum Seekers. I hope this finds you well. You can see I dressed up for you today. Um, it's been a crazy is not the right word. It's been an emotionally exhausting few days, and it doesn't look to be easing up anytime soon. And actually, for that, I'm grateful, and I wanted to tell you why. So, in the midst of us dealing with this pandemic and figuring out, from a very practical standpoint, how do we adapt, right? How do we adapt? How do we pivot? We've been talking about that for a while, but mostly in the context of our businesses, but also in the context of our lives. What is it that we want to shed? What is it we want to get back to? I am very familiar with adaptation because this is a pause that I went through years ago when I was recovering from my brain injury, and I took a lot of lessons away from that. And I think on a global scale, that is what you're all facing: is how do I adapt and manage, and what have been the moments of beauty in what we've been experiencing, and what have been the moments of pain, and what do I realize I don't need from my life before the pandemic. But I want to talk more specifically about the events of the last week, about the death of George Floyd, about police brutality against African American people, against racism. Um, it's been a crazy emotional week for many of us. And while I'm trying to figure out how to adapt my business, this is more than about the business. This is about your platform and how you use your voice and your work to make the world a better place. So, I wrote a book, The Empathy Edge. It came out last October, and this was pre-pandemic, everything coming to a head around racism in America, although that's been brewing for some time. And now is the time we really need to embrace empathy. But how do we do that? How do we put it into action? And what I've been doing the last few days is listening, learning, trying to educate. And that's exactly what I talked about in my book from a work perspective, but it's about how you strengthen that empathy muscle. What are you doing to listen, to learn, to get a glimpse inside someone else's life? I talk a lot about doing this for your customers, for your partners, for your colleagues, because it will enable your business to be successful. But what about the business of your life and your existence being successful? I hate that all this had to happen in our world for us to start talking about compassion, for us to start talking about empathy, for us to start realizing that we have to look up and understand that we're dealing with human beings, with experiences, with emotions, with their own perspectives. And we're seeing it in how we interact with each other at work, where the facade is coming down and we are humanizing each other. We're actually connecting. People are asking you, how are you? And they genuinely care. And I hope we never lose that coming out of this. But the practice that we've been doing during the pandemic, during the shelter in place, the quarantining, I'm hoping for you that has helped you deal with this chapter of racial inequality, of social justice. I feel like it's shifting. I feel like all the talk we've been doing around the pandemic of understanding other people and humanizing the workplace and empathy and compassion and authenticity is helping us have this better conversation right now. And I hope it's helping you. So this is not just about practicing empathy to make your business more successful. This is about practicing empathy to make your life more successful. So join me on this journey of education, of learning, of listening. Amplify the voices of marginalized communities, people of color, LGBTQ. Use your platform, however big it is. 5 people, 100,000 people, 1,000,000 people, whatever you're following. And write the emails, write the social media posts, make the Facebook Lives to impact other people's lives. It doesn't matter whether you sell website design or you're a copywriter or you do production or you're a coach or consultant of some type. You have a following, you have a platform, use it for good. Use it to address these issues. We're no longer in a time period where, well, my work is about this, so I can't really talk about that, right? My work is about brand strategy. I can't sit here and talk to my people about racism. We can. This is our community. This is our tribe. We have to be able to blur the lines of talking about business and product and service with talking about what is going on around us in our lives. You can be tone deaf if you don't, right? All of this impacts our work and our lives and what you do for a living. So whether, like I said, no matter what you do, no matter what your line or your profession or your career, we have a lot of diversity in this group in terms of what people are doing with their work. Be sure to open your eyes, be sure to open your ears, listen, and then amplify and share the information that you're getting. If people in your tribe or your email list are offended by you talking about these things, they're probably not your people. They're probably not going to align for you on values anyway. Do you really want to be working with them? Your platform is your platform to do what you like with, and you want to use it to help other people be better at their work, be better at whatever it is that you offer to them, but also be better human beings. That's the only way we can exponentially make change and impact the world for the better. So I just wanted to get on here sort of raw and emotional to see how you're doing with that. How are you leveraging your platform and your community for good? What are the things that you personally are doing to learn, to grow, to empathize, to amplify? Think about a couple of little things you can do every day to be part of the conversation and parlay your work into that topic, into that conversation, into that community. You're here because you want to build a successful business and an irresistible brand. And building an irresistible brand is about attracting the right people and influencing them and being part of a tribe together. But if all you talk about is one thing and you don't address what's going on in the world around you, you're not really serving that community. What's the point of building that community if you can't acknowledge these issues and talk about these things and help educate and enlighten and be a force for helping them be empathetic about what's going on in the world? So that's my challenge for you today and every day, not just when this runs out of the news cycle. Use your platform. You have influence. I don't care if you're not Brené Brown or Oprah Winfrey or Richard Branson. You've got people who listen to you, who care about your point of view, who believe you are smart, intelligent, valuable. Leverage that. Use this as a safe space. And I would really love, you guys, I would really love if you would invite more entrepreneurs and change makers of color from marginalized groups into this private community so we can hear their voices and we can learn from them. I admit that's not something that I necessarily focused on before, but I'm going to start focusing on it now, and I'd love for you to help me. So there's a very easy way to invite people to this group, and let's learn from each other. Let's hear about what's going on for us, not just in our work, but in our lives right now. Because this is all wrapped up in the same thing. It's all wrapped up in your existence and your purpose and why you're here. If you want to compartmentalize it between work and life and family, you can. I'm starting to blur those lines. Yes, you can have priorities, of course, but it's all you. You are the brand factor, the common denominator in all of those things. How do you want to show up? How do you want to integrate those parts of your life into your work, those parts of your personal life, your personal values into your work? And how does your work parlay into what you're doing in your personal life? It's okay. I used to believe it wasn't okay to have those things intermingle. I was just talking to someone this morning on a getting to know you call, and I was saying how rigid I was with that before. There was work Maria and there was personal Maria. And probably in my 20s, that was a good thing that didn't intermingle too much. But the idea was I never thought those two worlds could collide, even though most of my friends, most of my close relationships I still have to this day, I developed through my work, through my workplace, through my company. I met my husband through my work. So it stands to reason that we need to commingle those aspects of our lives and find our voice so that we are aligned. What we say with our family, what we say with our friends, we should be able to say to our customers, to our colleagues, to our communities. So I challenge you to do that. And I challenge you to practice empathy, not just right now while it's a hot topic, but every day. Continue learning, continue listening, continue amplifying, continue trying to understand. I hope you're all safe, healthy, and sane. I hope things are going well for you, even if you're potentially still in shelter in place. My son is having his kindergarten graduation tomorrow. I'm very excited. And I hope things are going well for you. If there's anything I can do or this community can do, please leave a comment. Please send me a message. Take care. And keep aligning yourself to your values, no matter whether you're in your personal life or your work life. Take care.